What's up, everybody? I know it's been a while since we did a video on this 91 Civic hatch. I think the last video that we got uploaded was the fuel tank going up and the engine starting. So everything went well, the engine runs good, and then we ran into some other issues and just wanted to do an update video, like I said, because it's been a while and it's just been sitting here, really. So the master cylinder is broke. Got to get a new one in there, or a reservoir at least. We got a new coolant reservoir, so that's in there. We got it driving, and the transmission, the automatic transmission, there must be something in there, some rust or something. So the transmission's gonna have to come back out. We're at a crossroads now. We want to keep it stock as possible because it's got the power steering and AC on a hatch model. It's a Canadian hatch, I believe, because it's missing the passenger side mirror here. It's just a block off plate. So transmission has to come out either way in order to get this thing moving on its own power. Other than that, it ran great. I'll show the interior. We got a West Wing 6-piece Mugen body kit for it. That's going to go on it. Got a nice early 90s racing seat. And the interior is not too bad. It's got to be cleaned up. So yeah, we got new seat belts in because the seat belts were missing or cut out or something. So a lot of parts to try and keep this thing stock, and it's very hard to find. So we're going to get the ball rolling on this thing, get it moving. And we want to get it back on the road, saving some gas with these outrageous gas prices. Hopefully this thing can be a good beater. But yeah, that's really it. We got some rims that we're going to use on here too. And go and get those and set them up. Alright, that's the rim. I think it's going to look excellent with the body kit and everything on there and cleaned up. Alright, it's the next morning. We are out here at the Civic hatch. And the transmission is going to come out hopefully before the sun gets too high and gets too hot for us. Okay, we got everything set up for the transmission drop. It is important that you keep a engine T-bar or support bar across the top of the motor, and that's so it don't sag and rip the motor mounts on that side. We just put 2 metric bolts in that match the distributor mounting holes, and you use 2 of them so you don't rip the ear off. And all you want to do is really just support that weight. You know, you see there's still a little flex and chain. You're just supporting that weight up, so when you disconnect that trans mount, the rear motor mount back there, and the front torque mount, the engine don't drop to the left side and sag down and rip that rubber. We also found that the CV joints, they're in good condition, but they're rusted like crazy, and it took a really big impact to get the 32mm nut off. So we're probably just going to go ahead and replace the axles and all the suspension and brake components while we're down here, make sure everything's good. So we're going to drop that trans, get the torque converter out, and see what our options are. Okay, and the trans is about to come out. We lowered the engine with this bracket here. As you can see, the transmission will clear the wheel arch here. And very simply, to separate it, that little tab right here, just get on it and then put you a long pry bar or screwdriver and just pry over, and it'll open up, and then you can just kind of shimmy it around and it'll pop out. Make sure all your torque converter bolts are out. Alright, once you pop the transmission back from the torque converter, there's not going to be enough room with the engine angled down. So you want to go ahead and get the engine level back to where it would be if the trans was hooked up. And now you can see we have clearance there for that input shaft to clear the torque converter and come down. Okay, there it is. We got the trans out. It is the ML4A automatic trans. And what we were saying earlier about the input shaft clearing was most of the time this torque converter gets hung up. Even when the bolts are loose, it'll still get hung up on that little center nub there where it rides, because on the other side of the torque converter there's a little circle that sits in there. So you don't normally have to lower the engine that much, because it's only about a small little gap clearance, and then the whole transmission will slide down. But in the case that the torque converter gets hung up like we showed, or for some reason you don't remove torque converter bolts, then you would have to lean the engine all the way down and slide it out the side here, which it'll come out pretty good. And then get it down. Now, the reason why we have this out, like I said, the transmission was bad. It wasn't bad, it was just sucking up something into the filter, internal filter, and we had all these new seals on and everything was good. And after the car heated up, it would just stop moving. So, called a lot of places. Nobody has this transmission in stock. So, we're gonna have to go ahead and crack this one open and see what we got. Okay, we got the torque converter rebuilt, refreshed the transmission. We had to rob Peter to pay Paul from 2 different types of transmissions. As you can see here, this one's in pieces. So one of them was missing a lot of pieces. This was the rusted one that we started to take apart. Then we had another one that we just went ahead and used the internals, the case. We used some of the accessories from the old one. The back cover we had to use from the rusted out transmission. So we got it together, refreshed, got the mount bracket all painted up, new motor mounts and trans mounts to go on, new clutches and steels in there. So hopefully this thing boogies out. Okay, the trans is back in the hatch. It's just bolted up right now. All the mounts are on and everything, brand new mounts. We have to get a new radiator and some new axles, because these ones are real stiff and rusted, so we don't want to put them back in. But yep, that's the update. Trans is back in, hopefully it runs, and we'll see when we get the axles and the radiator in. Till next time, thanks for watching. Please subscribe.